Hello and welcome to Life in the Bitter Truth. This is the podcast where we seek to understand the deeper meaning behind this sometimes.
Hi there, hello and welcome to Life in the Bitter Truth. This is the podcast where we seek to understand the deeper, sometimes painful aspects of life and what it all means to us. I'm Vittorio.
And I'm Alex.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you. Everyone should do that when I announce myself. Thank you.
Good deal. So what are we talking about today?
Today, I brought this up to you the other day and I was like, do you know anything that's happening with Blake Lively? And you were like, oh my God, there's so much going on. Yeah. So I want to kind of like,
there is.
I was trying to write some notes because I'm like, there's so much to this case and it's only going to get more and more deep, you know? Okay. And the podcast that I listen to every single day, they have been trying their best to keep up with it as well. So all that to say, we got to get into it.
We got to get into it. Okay. Well, I have to start the podcast off with basically saying I'm a big fan. Well, I was a big fan of Blake Lively.
Why were you a big fan of hers?
I think she's beautiful. I think the last movie that I saw of her, I saw two movies, and I know they're a little older. So Age of Adeline.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
No. I like that movie. And then the other one with Anna Kendrick.
Oh, yeah.
I forget the name of it.
Anna Kendrick. I'm not too sure.
I thought that was pretty good.
Shitty Netflix movie.
No, it was, maybe it was, I'm not sure. But I liked both movies. So, I mean, again, I was kind of a fan.
Do you think she's a good actress?
No, no. She's probably
kind of basic.
Probably a B movie. Yeah, she's pretty basic. And I did see her on the Green Lantern with what's his face
with her man.
And then Ron Reynolds, I think he got better notoriety out of some of the Deadpool movies, but
before he was just doing like comedy, like the same kind of character.
The dumb whatever. I saw the first Deadpool. I didn't see any other Deadpools, and I heard they were good, but I don't know.
I've watched them with Jacob because he loves Marvel, DC, all of that. I'm not really a fan of Ryan Reynolds in general. So it was a little painful to watch a movie that he wrote and it's all about him.
Oh, wait a minute. I like this movie, The Adam Project.
Which one is that one?
So The Adam Project is where it's in the future. He comes back as himself and he meets himself, but the younger self. And so
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it was actually nice. It was Mark Ruffalo was in it.
Okay, I like Mark Ruffalo a lot.
I mean, it was okay movie. It's not something I would never pay for, but a lot of movies I don't pay for anymore.
Yeah, but you don't go to the movies very often.
Not very often, though. There are we'll watch movies on Friday nights or Saturday nights, and we'll buy one or whatever, we'll rent one. So we did that over the weekend too. That was a good movie.
Wicked?
No, Anora. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Is it scary?
No. It's about a dancer who gets involved with a Russian guy, and it's a whole drama that she has to go through to kind of deal with that issue. So it was a good movie. So,
okay.
Yeah. So back to Ron Reynolds.
I never liked him. He just seems like such a douche.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I can't speak of that specifically, but all I've ever seen him on lately is his thing that he's hawking, the
Deadpool with Wolverine.
That I saw that which I thought was kind of dumb, but
I love Hugh Jackman.
His telephone thing that he's hawking and trying to sell to everybody.
Oh, is it his commercials, right?
So yeah, it's commercials. That's all I've ever seen him.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the hell he's doing. Yeah. I mean, we know what he's doing. Actually, he's writing parts of It Ends With Us, and Blake Lively's taking credit for it.
Oh, is that the case?
Yes. Oh, so oh my God, there's so much to get into. Okay, fine. We can save that. So essentially I wanted to ask you, what is your knowledge or your, of Justin Baldoni and the case? All the cases.
I've never heard of Justin Baldoni up until the movie, which I've not seen. It's on Netflix. I still haven't gotten around to seeing it because I can't connect anymore because she's kind of destroyed the movie for everybody.
I did see it, but I can tell you about it.
And I don't know the book. I heard the book was boring and the movie's even worse. But again, I don't know any about that stuff. This is what I've heard. But I didn't know who he was. I know now I know he's an actor, director, and a producer. But I didn't know who he was, what movies he was in, nothing of that, none of it. So up until this drama that unfolded, didn't know who he was. From what I have heard, well, he's the smaller, he's got a smaller footprint, and
like an indie creative.
And so he got rights to this movie. He selected Blake Lively for the lead actress role to be hired as the actress. Yes. Nothing more. She doesn't have producer credits, executive producer credits, no creative credits whatsoever. But according to what I've read, she wanted all kinds of credits and to control the movie. And it was a conspiracy to destroy this guy and take control of the movie. That's what I heard.
Yeah, so a lot of that has been proven to be true, which is pretty crazy because, I think at first it was very shocking to hear these things about Blake Lively because, she's beautiful, she's got that type of girl next door kind of
that vibe
stature, right? And so that's, everyone loves that. And so, but to hear that she's, all the things that's come out about her and, her in interviews and how she's been so mean to different,
actors, co-actors and all like that.
Lots of different people. So a lot's coming out, but.
So why don't we take it from the beginning? How did this all commence from your knowledge point?
Yeah, from my knowledge, and I'm like referencing my notes down here because there's so much. From what I know at this moment, you're right when you say that she kind of went in there and kind of essentially ransacked the entire production. Yeah. She wanted. I mean, I work in TV, so I understand that talent, they want their producer credits, right? Because it looks good. It looks good to say, "Oh, I'm a rapper and a producer of TV or of film," right? When they literally don't do anything,
right?
But it's been said that Blake Lively, she thought that this movie was going to be like Academy worthy. She wanted to win, and if she was a producer, that means that the award would go to her. Right, so, she wanted to build that for her career, and she hasn't really been in box office hits, I would say.
I don't think she's ever been in one, has she?
No, I think the most culturally relevant thing she's been in is Gossip Girl, which I never watched.
I don't even know what that is.
My little sister likes that show.
Okay.
But that was a long time ago before she even knew Ryan Reynolds, right? But since working on this film, which, like you said, this director, Justin Baldoni, had gotten the rights to the film and was in conversation with Colleen Hoover, the author of the book, which I've heard is a page turner, but not in the way that it's a Pulitzer winning novel, right? It's just kind of like fan fiction. It's along the same lines of like a Twilight, right?
Oh, okay.
It's very basic. The characters have weird names. Like it's just, I heard that it was just written as like kind of like a fan fiction type of style.
Oh, okay.
And so Justin Baldoni, which we can go into him and his kind of.
Do you know what movies he's actually?
No. I think the only thing I've seen of his, other than, well, actually, I was gonna say other than It Ends With Us, he didn't even get the final cut of the film that he did with Blake Lively. So the cut that we saw in theaters, the theatrical release, that was Blake's cut. He couldn't even give the final cut.
So she had final cut options in her contract?
So after all...
Or she stole it?
She essentially said, if you don't give this to me, you got to find a new person to fill this role. So she was threatening to leave.
It was already filmed.
A lot of it was.
Oh,
right?
So of course, yeah.
Yeah, so leading up to the filming, he wanted to send her scripts and pages and all these things. And, she wanted these things immediately. Granted, she hadn't read the book, so she didn't even know what the character was about.
Great.
And, he was very hesitant. And we've seen through all the evidence that has been leaked that he was very hesitant in sending her the pages because, he said, yeah, I'm able to send it to you and I will. I just haven't because, XYZ, whatever excuse he gave.
Sure.
But once, everything kind of came out, once the script came out, she had all these notes.
Really?
There were different scenes that she wanted to add in there that weren't relevant to the book at all. And turns out a lot of those scenes, specifically this rooftop scene where her character, her character and Justin Baldoni's character are up there, and it's kind of like their first real interaction. She's claiming that, I wanted to really do this scene and I think it's important and I care about the character. Ryan Reynolds wrote that whole scene. He ended up admitting that he wrote it and not her. So it's just the fact that, there's lots, and Justin Baldoni is just supposed to accept it because he feels pressured to, right?
Well, it's funny. So what I heard about that specific scene was it was meant not to be taped, just filmed. Silence.
This is a different scene. This is a different scene. But yes, tell me about the dancing scene.
The dancing scene. That must be a different scene. Okay, so this particular scene that I had read about was they're supposed to be interacting together and connecting
with no sound
as two people. But Baldoni was told that it's smart of him to record everything, every interaction with this particular actress because she's got a propensity for doing shitty things on sets. And so he went ahead and did all that. So in the lawsuit that she had claimed sexual harassment, she had coined or pointed to this one scene, which when you listen to the audio, it's like, no, she's not being sexually harassed. It's actually an interaction that is, like two people working through a scene, and it's very graceful. It's not very rude. There's nothing hostile about it. There's nothing overt about it. It's so
she definitely spun
she didn't
it,
know
for sure.
She certainly didn't know she was being recorded.
No, and when that came out, that totally changed the trajectory of the case, right? Because she's claiming that while they were dancing, he's trying to get her to kiss him,
right?
Like we should just kiss or whatever, and she she keeps saying like, no, let's just keep talking. So they're talking about random stuff, right? So that's like contentious, but she claimed in her suit that he was saying inappropriate things to her and that he had kissed her neck or something, right? And we see it that's all, and it's just not. It just didn't really happen like that.
What's sad about how this is unfolded for her specifically is that she's kind of lied about a lot, and it's just he was smart enough to record and tape everything for the purposes of protecting himself, because apparently he got wind of this actress's behavior. So I said, that was pretty smart of him to do, but and
everything was being recorded, right? So even and she had problems with the wardrobe, she had problems with the script, she had problems with everything under the sun, right? She wanted to have body makeup, she wanted to be more tan, even though the character itself is very similar to like a Bella Swan, very low key, she's a humble small business owner. She's not rich, but Blake Lively insisted that she wear designer clothes and Christian Louboutin shoes. And in this recording that had come out of them filming, they're panning, he's panning down, and she's like, oh, make sure you get my shoes. Make sure you get my shoes. Do you see the sparkle in my shoes?
Oh my God.
And he shared with her, but the actual character would never wear Christian Louboutin shoes. Yeah, most people don't. So that was just another thing, right?
They had mentioned something like that in one of the newsreels regarding her wanting to control or wanting this huge budget for wardrobe. And you're right. Apparently the character itself,
she's not supposed to be. It wasn't
rich. Supposed to be that level of designer fashion. So again, it's Blake Lively trying to take her spin on this particular movie's
or how she
character.
looked. She was very, very concerned about her appearance. And after just having a child, right, she wasn't, and it's very obvious in their conversations back and forth. A lot of the time, Justin is kind of, reassuring her that looks great and all this stuff. And you can tell she's concerned. She talks often about how she's trying to lose weight.
Right.
She's sharing these things with him.
Right.
So he's aware that she doesn't like it and she doesn't like how she looks, basically. Mm-hmm. So that was very important. It was all about her on set.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. It was funny. So I watch Candace Owens a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I like her. I like her style. I like I know she's got a little. She's got a little bit of.
She's kooky.
No, I personally don't think so. I think she's smart as a crackerjack. So I think she's very. She presents her opinions and her cases very, very clear in her podcast. So I had heard her do. She does not like Blake Lively or Ron Reynolds at all. Mm-hmm. She thinks they're both dregs of society, and she kind of lays it all out, and she goes into all kinds of layers and details and stuff. And I know I was getting into the weeds with some of it, but I had to run out to a meeting, but I couldn't finish it. But she had made some comment about Ron Reynolds being so crazy jealous that he had communicated in text. And I know I might be jumping, but it triggered me that Ron Reynolds had communicated to Baldoni that the production of the movie was at the same time as his second Deadpool movie, and that he was distraught because he was going to be away from Blake Lively, and that he's never been away from her. Can you push the production further out so that he can be on set with Blake? Mm-hmm. And Baldoni was saying, well, I don't know, we're set with timetables, but I'll do what I can to accommodate, blah, 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 blah. And Ron Reynolds is going, you're the man, you're the best person on the planet. Thank you so much. Blake is going to be the perfect person for this particular role. She's really going to be able to expand her creative abilities and that kind of stuff.
Blah, they were really making it, and it's crazy to see all the evidence and all the conversations, because everything's come out from Ryan Reynolds, Justin, his assistant, people on his PR. Everything has been kind of aired out at this point. Yeah. And Blake Lively really thought that this was gonna that this movie was a huge deal. And
like I said, I don't know the movie. You saw the movie, so talk me through the movie. What was it about? What's the premise of the movie?
Yeah, so the main character, which I'm dropping her name now, she has like freaking Blossom in her name or something. I think that's her last name. Anyway, it really touches on the fact that there's lots of flower symbolism in the book, in all the press, for the film and stuff. And so, this character, she's a small business owner. She's just opening up her own flower shop. And some way, somehow she meets Justin Baldoni's character. They fall in love. She's kind of, trying to create this relationship with him. Okay. And then things take a turn where Justin Baldoni's character becomes an abuser, right? Okay. So he starts engaging in a lot of domestic violence. So we see that. It's interesting because in the film, it kind of leads up in a way that it doesn't really look like it. It could be domestic violence. It couldn't be, right? Where, she's trying to grab something from the oven and he's trying to grab something from the oven, and Blake Lively goes to help him and he backhands her, right? And it looks like a mistake or whatever, right? Right. Anyway, all that to say, at the end of the film, we see the extras that wasn't shown, which that it was, that he did push her down the stairs and all this stuff. Yeah. She ends up pregnant throughout the story, and then she realizes that, oh my gosh, my mother was abused by my father. Now I'm getting abused, and it ends here, right? That's the title of the book. It ends with us. Okay. So she ends up leaving Justin Baldoni's character and potentially rekindling an old flame from her past.
So sleeping with the enemy kind of take?
We end up learning he is the enemy, right? So at first
she's... that same kind of premise?
Yeah, she's, totally swooning by Justin Baldoni's character, right? He's beautiful or whatever, and very charming, and she's just like, oh my gosh, right? And turns out, he's an angry man.
Okay.
So
you never read the book?
No, I don't read books like that. But
I don't read books. Then you said like that. Okay, good. Because you read books all the time. So.
Yeah, no hate on any. But I mean, it was very, very popular book. Right. Lots of people were picking it up. Yes, and I think there were a couple books. I think it became a series. This lady, she
television?
made a serial book series.
Okay. Never heard of it.
A lot of people, and if I were to show you the cover, maybe you would recognize it. But the book itself doesn't have great reviews, and so when I heard they were making a film, I was like, yeah, I don't think the film would be any good either. Yeah. But Justin Baldoni really believed in it and cares about domestic violence survivors.
He bought the book. He bought the rights, so he's going to care about it.
And I'll say that's something that I'm not too sure if you're aware of, but that's kind of Justin Baldoni's shtick. Like he's, men need to respect women, and that's manly but it's so cringy. It's so cringy because it seems so disingenuous, and it's
how so?
Just based on his delivery. Oh, and so I would have to show you
the delivery isn't good, but
I mean he did a TED talk about how men need to treat women better and all this stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't watch all of it, but I did watch some clips of it. And then after that, I saw this proposal video he did so he made a video for his wife when he was proposing to her. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the video. I know he's married and he's got daughters.
Yeah, so it was
I think he's got daughters.
It was just interesting because he made a proposal video, and it was very, very... You know what? She loves him. Good for him. Good for them, right? I mean, but
we can criticize people's approach to romance, but the bottom line is, that's probably endearing. Whatever he did, I don't know.
I will say it was interesting that at the end it said directed by Justin Baldoni. Produced by It's like, dude, are you gonna send this to
as a real
cans or where? You know what I mean?
So he let me understand this. He videotaped this proposal to his future wife
with a voiceover,
and then he put credits at the end.
Yes, but it's like he wrote a shot list for everything that was within the proposal video. Like he really thought that he created a film.
He's one of these creative director types, so that doesn't necessarily surprise me that somebody would do something like that. It's kind of like that's his shtick.
That's the contradiction that Blake Lively's team is kind of trying to attack him for is, you're claiming that you care about women and that you're against harassment and you're against all these things, but turns out you harassed me.
Oh, so that's her claim to this person's actions and behavior.
Right. And then so recently, all these text conversations came out, voice memos, everything you could think of. I think this is like last week or the week before. Right. But her saying that he was sending her inappropriate text messages and stuff. Right. And I think the only thing that I thought was inappropriate was, again, I don't know. You can tell me if I just think that he's just like a creeper. Like he's just a creeper based on like how he talks, but he tries to do this like suave thing. That's
what's his nationality?
I'm not too sure.
Is he Italian? Is he something?
I'm not too sure.
Some other swarmy.
I don't know, but he is Greek? So convinced that he is the most beautiful person on the fucking planet. Well, and it's obvious he thinks that.
It's Hollywood. They all think there's something, right? You know that. You see some of the talent that you work with, they all think they're better.
Of course, I mean,
you and I, we think we're something. No. Yeah. But you know what's funny is I don't know much about him. I know he's taken quite the victim role now. Mm-hmm. And I think rightly so, because, if you think about this power couple, which is Blake and Ryan Reynolds, it's not that they're Oscar-winning couple or whatever, but it's that they look like Americana, that,
for sure.
Whatever. and they're Hollywood, and she's a mother of who knows how many kids.
They have 2 kids.
And, he's a businessman on top of being an actor. So they bring a presence to them, and,
that Justin Baldoni just doesn't have.
He doesn't, I don't think he's got the same level of footprint that the other two do. So
for sure,
they thought they were going to bully this guy into submission. And I think he was smart enough to say, you know what? No, I mean, I have a career also. We'll get into the career side of the impact of this lawsuits in a bit, but I think that was probably one of the problems that, he faced, knowing that these two had a bit of a suave, or, they had a bit of a following.
Presence,
right?
too.
Presence. So and he needed to accommodate some of this nonsense that they brought to the table.
Blake Lively was very adamant about, I wanted to show it to Ryan. He really admires your work, and he just wants me to be the best I can be. Blah blah blah. And then she ended up sharing with Justin Baldoni that she also sent these new scripts to Taylor Swift, which is one of her best friends.
That's right. I heard about the TS connection.
And TS is fucking pissed. She does not want to be involved in this shit. And let me say that in one of the texts that came out, she referenced herself. Blake Lively, this is how narcissistic she is. She referenced herself as the mother of dragons.
That's right.
And that Daenerys Targaryen, and that right. Taylor Swift was one of her dragons.
That's right.
Taylor Swift was like, what the?
Yeah.
Girl?
Well, I know that Taylor Swift is the godmother of one of her kids or something like that. I heard. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not, don't, whatever, but that's what I heard. And Taylor Swift is, if anything, savvy enough not to deal with bad press. She is smart enough to make sure that she has heavy duty PR people.
Oh, for sure.
And they keep her out of the woods on a lot of garbage that would probably
I don't think she's ever gotten
affect. I mean, I know Taylor Swift went through a bout of the boyfriends and all that crap that she's a lot of people
she's
say
for the streets.
A lot of people say she's been around the block a few times.
For sure.
A few times. But she in this particular situation with this movie and with Blake Lively, she took a position. Don't
keep me out of it.
Keep me involved. Don't get me involved. And she took a step back from her friendship with both of them.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard as well. And another thing too is that in Justin Baldoni's case, he's arguing that I didn't just have Blake Lively trying to take my throne and my authority here, but
my movie.
Yeah, but I also had the pressure of Ryan Reynolds and now big stars like Taylor Swift.
That's right.
Who I essentially feel like I have to submit to, especially if she's saying, "Oh yeah, Taylor read it and she loved it. She loved what I added to the film."
Right.
And he's like, okay, so he's saying that. I mean, in his case, he's claiming defamation of character, extortion, invasion of privacy, breach of good faith, and lots of other things. Yeah. And so he's essentially feeling like I was pushed into a corner because she's a big star, because she had the sign off of the whole cast,
right? And
she wouldn't let this one down.
Yeah. What's funny now, if you look at the whole, everything from the genesis all the way through to this, to where they are today in this lawsuit is like, even when the movie went to, was in its preview stage and they were taking it and they were doing they were watching the previews, he was not even allowed by the studio to be part of the what do they call the movie when it's being previewed?
Oh, the screenings?
Screening, thank you.
Yeah.
And he had to watch it in a completely different venue, which I thought was
that's crazy,
completely atrocious. So if I were him, I'd sue the studio as well.
I believe he is.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Because
I think he's also suing the LA Times.
Yeah, his reputation has been harmed. His potential. I heard that he's lost movie deals, director deals, in upwards of $300 million. So I hope,
I think he's asking for 400 million.
Yeah.
And look, the trial is not till next year.
Sure. But the damage is there, right? So,
and I think it's going to continue.
So as we talk about, from the screening forward, right? So I understood from this is what I heard, and you might be able to correct me, but I had heard that Blake Lively was rallying the entire crew to be on her side and to not necessarily say negative things about Baldoni, but to kind of remove him from social media, not follow him or defollow him.
Everyone unfollow
him.
Yeah. So it definitely looked bad, right?
Yeah.
Optics, if your whole cast has unfollowed you and Blake Lively's, creating a campaign against you, essentially, that's going to tell the whole public, that you're the bad guy, especially if Blake Lively is beautiful and nice and has a smile on, right? It just doesn't look good for him.
And then it went as far as he got dropped from his management company because Blake contacted the same management company who she's with. They're both the same. And I guess she threatened that if you don't get rid of him, I'm going to walk away as well.
Well, and it's interesting because people are also saying that she paid off an old employee of his and she released her old work phone to Blake Lively. Yeah. And so through that, Blake Lively grabbed all these messages and all this context, which fueled the first kind of round of fire, which is just insane.
Crazy. So, I had heard that the publicist for Blake Lively, or I can't remember which one now has quit, or
that was Justin Baldoni's publicist quit.
Yeah, quit. And so now and then you've got people who worked for her have been coming out saying that this is a huge conspiracy that's been going on against this guy. Like I said, I don't know the extent of it. What I've heard now from every single source that's out there in the social media world, for everybody from podcasts to social media, is that Blake Lively is going to lose badly.
I think so.
That's what I've heard because of all of this evidence that has now come out, that Blake's behavior that has been slowly drip coming out. And what Baldoni did, I think after the first hearing in court, where the judge says, be respectful of information. You still have the right to refute information that you hear out there in public, blah, 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 blah. But what Baldoni's attorney did was he put out a website.
Oh, I saw that.
And
lawsuit info.
Everything's unedited, pure raw data, information, email texts.
That's crazy.
Audio, video, everything that's out there. And it's just refuting things one after another.
What do you think of that?
That's cool. I you know what? Sometimes you have to go balls to the wall.
Just to be like, I'm not going down without a fight. Here's my truth. And let me post everything that I know.
Exactly. And I think what's happening now, to the point you made earlier in this set, is that people are coming out of the woodwork about Blake Lively and all of the history that she has with all the shit that she's done to other actors. And I think it was Gossip Girl, but could be another another show that she was involved with, where she badmouthed her co-star, and until everybody had to tell her, no, he's a really good guy. And then she, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, came back around and said, oh yeah, he's a good guy. But
I think that was for Gossip Girl.
Yeah. In the meantime, she's bad-mouthing him everywhere. So she's got a history of all of this stuff, of doing that. And now this is all trickle coming out. So her reputation's being chipped away at, and it's probably going to do some severe damage. Who's going to want to work with Blake Lively?
I mean,
ever again?
Every interview that she's been a part of that has resurfaced as well. She was being interviewed by this, I don't know if she was British or Australian, but by this journalist. And the journalist knew that Blake Lively was pregnant. It was very obvious. She had already made the announcement. So she had made a comment about her belly, just being kind or whatever, just to checking in on that during the interview. And Blake Lively had just basically turned it around at her and said, well, how's yours? And just being so mean. And turns out this journalist, she came forward and said, yeah, here's the video, right? Here's the proof of it. We never put that up. Right. But she was saying how, it really affected me at the time. It made me cry because I'm not able to have children. And so, me checking in on her and speaking about something that she's already been open about, only to get it thrown at my face and taken the completely different way. That just showed the mean girl mentality that she has.
That's it. She's a classic mean girl. So she's got a bad reputation out there, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So she's not this apple pie girl, But there's still a lot of love for her right now. Really?
Even after the SNL 50th anniversary special, they're panning around in the crowd, and they saw Ryan and her, and the articles that I've seen are people are focusing on how beautiful she looks, her outfit, right? She's got people to focus on other things.
This is the marketing side of it. Right. This is the PR side. So how real that is, it's just bullshit stuff that they just they're trying to kill the idea of her being so damn nasty. And that's what they do. That's what PR people are specialized in. Yeah. They put things in, they bribe, people to focus on different things to get her to look better, or they refocus the energy into more positive sides of it. That's what PR people do.
And it reminds me so much of, other huge cases like this, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right?
Sure.
You didn't know what to believe for the longest time.
That is funny. I think it was Megyn Kelly. I listened to that today, and she said that she brought up the whole Amber Heard thing, that she said that Blake Lively is going to go the way of Amber Heard, where Amber Heard,
was crying wolf a lot of the time,
and she got beaten the shit up, right? So that crazy girl had to leave the country, and so she's gone. I think she's in London for all I know. But she is gone because her reputation gone.
Yeah,
her
and
acting, gone.
And there are large truths across the board, right? Yes, Johnny Depp is a drug addict and an alcoholic.
Sure.
Did it happen the way she spinned it? Yeah. The evidence didn't show that, which was painful to watch, because I'm like, but that's embarrassing.
If you do some comparisons to Johnny Depp now and Baldoni maybe in the future, where Disney for Johnny Depp has come around. Yeah, they're offering him, I don't know, I heard $300 million to come back as Jack Sparrow.
I mean, that's
good for him.
That's the PC culture where companies are like, any accusation, we're out, right? Because we don't want people to boycott us, because boycotting is such a thing.
But now they're coming back around. They're coming back around because, quite frankly, Johnny Depp in this example, right? I mean, and we can do a contrast between him and Blake Lively, but Johnny Depp is actually talented.
Oh, for sure.
So
1,000%.
For Disney to come back around and say,
we can't lose this guy.
We need to make amends and throw a lot of money at him. Good for him.
And in the same way, like Amber Heard was not talented at all.
No,
she had never been.
Again, another situation where I was a fan of Amber Heard. I saw her in The Informers, and I think that was the first time I had ever seen her in The Informers. She played a bit role, didn't say much. She had more clothes off than she did on. So of course. That was probably her biggest her thing in that particular movie. But I mean, I liked her for whatever she did, but she wasn't anything of no name. She was no big name, but I'm glad that Johnny Depp in this example is back on track. Great for him. Whether Blake Lively can come back from this, she doesn't have the same kind of talent that Johnny Depp has.
So the same kind of pull, you're saying?
Nope, that's what I say. I think the one who'll be riding this thing out is probably Ryan Reynolds, and he's probably going to get hurt by guilty by association.
I heard that Justin's going to try to sue him as well.
He should because he was
making fun of him in the Deadpool movie, right? He was dressing as him. That's right. Kind of mocking him. Yeah. And so, I think I believe Justin Baldoni has a few people that are kind of sponsoring this case that are helping him kind of pay for it.
Okay.
And these people got cash. They're millionaires. So I don't think he's stopping anytime soon.
And the reason they're doing that is to help support him because they don't like her.
They believe his truth,
Okay.
They don't like how she's carried it, that they understand that she's, taken over and sabotaged the entire production and all these things.
Okay. Well,
so they're with him.
It'll be interesting what unfolds, but I know that these two characters are I'm talking Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. They're running around trying to figure out how to get out from under this. And if she's smart, she'll settle. and she'll go away for a couple years.
And then we'll forget about it.
And hopefully she'll be able to rebuild whatever career she had. But I mean, I think they both got to worry about their careers being harmed here, because Ryan Reynolds is deeply associated and he's involved in her shenanigans
just as much,
to the top of it.
And the consensus is that they are just assholes, that they're not talented, that they have this kind of facade that they put on, this front to the public, but actually, they're idiots, basically.
Well, I don't know where I don't know where this will unfold, but I'm no longer rooting for Blake and Ron Reynolds. I mean, I liked them only because I thought they were, it's like, oh, nice couple, whatever. But after what I've heard, what I've read, oh man, they've done a hatchet job on this guy,
right?
And I hope he comes out
on
top with all the money he gets.
And we'll see what else comes out about the case. But we'll if we hear anything else, we'll definitely report back. But I can jump to our segment of questions I always wanted to ask you, and I'm going to pull from our "We're Not Really Strangers" box.
And I also have a question for you, not from the box, but just a general question.
You want to do that first?
I'll do that first.
Okay, go for it. While I do this.
What book are you currently reading?
What book am I currently reading? So right now I am reading my friend's new book. So his name is Juan Amador. And he just published a poetry book called Pimping My Trauma.
Pimping My Trauma?
Oh my God. He's just amazing. Okay. Like everyone that comes to my events and that, is a part of me in any way, shape or form, they know how much I love Juan's work.
And what's he do?
He's a poet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his thing.
And what kind of
you can look it up.
What kind of poetry does he do?
Pimping My Trauma. He writes about a lot of things. One of my favorite poems of his is about his dog named Fat Boy, and it's kind of like a eulogy to him. And he just also read a poem at this event that I was at about his New Year's resolution, which was in his words to eat ass more. So but anyway, all that to say, he's great. And so that's what I'm reading right now. Okay. And it's published by Rite of Roses publishing house, a small independent publishing house that is owned by my friend Brenda. But it's a great book. That's what I'm reading right now.
Okay. Well, since my travels are, and the reason I asked that, my travels to work are a little longer, so I'm stuck in the car a lot more, and so I'm now doing, I have little time at home, but I'm now doing, it was kind of funny, I told your sister I'm doing a book on tape. She goes, you mean an audiobook?
Oh my God.
Nothing
is on tape anymore.
I know. And so I'm currently reading Power, Faith, and Fantasy, the America in the Middle East, from 1775 to present time by Michael Oren. And it gives
You love him.
Michael Oren, yeah. He was the diplomat for Israel to the U.S. and super, super good writer. He does historical context, and the book weaves a story through the last 200 years of America's involvement in the Middle East. And there are nuances there that I just didn't know. And I had some inkling, some thought, some remembrance of some of the history and whatever, because I'm a big history buff. But it's just a fascinating book, and I'm going through. I think I'm in chapter 8 right now, but it's just great stuff. Good news. I mean, just good information.
I feel like a book like that would put me to sleep, and I know your commute is long.
Yeah, so
it doesn't put you to sleep.
No, it doesn't put me to sleep. This is the second time I've read it. So
interesting. Yeah, now you're reading it in a different way.
I have it on hardcover because I like hardcover books. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good book. That's the book that I'm reading. So
Jacob wants me to do an audio version of my last book.
Okay, do it.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Who would be the narrator?
It would be me. I would do it. Yeah. Okay. I would do it myself, but
cool.
Let's add that to the list of things I need to do. But okay, our card from level 2, which is Connection, from the family edition box of this card series that I love so much. It's finish the sentence.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Something that brought a smile to my face this week was
my girlfriend's smile.
Okay, that's very kind, but be more specific.
Something
that brought a smile to your face. Her smile?
No, my smile. You said it was my smile, right?
No, so you're talking about yourself.
Oh, that brought a smile to my face.
Yes.
I think it was the Valentine's gift that she gave me.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, because that was just the most recent thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? Same thing, same question.
Something.
And I'm not trying to be corny, but that's exactly what it was. I mean, the most quickest reflection.
Of course. Yeah, my mind's always going to go to Jacob too. But let's see. Something that brought a smile to my face this week. Oh my gosh. My neighbor, she just got a little kitten, a little Siamese cat. Okay. And I had never seen I've never really like known a lot of cats because you guys don't like cats. And we grew up thinking you guys were allergic to cats, which is not true. That's just like a lie that every child is told, I think. But this little Siamese cat, it's our neighbor's cat, and we're not really close to this neighbor below us, but you know, he was peeping his little head out the window, and I just thought he was so cute. Okay. That brought a smile to my face. A smile to your face? Okay. Yeah, I would, but again, I don't know how to love on a cat. I'm only like a dog person, so
cats can be loved on from afar.
Yeah, and my friend Aaliyah, my Turkish friend that you know, that is local to us when she's in the country. She has 2 Siamese cats, but they're like, this is gonna sound this shows that I have no knowledge of cats, but they're like real deal Siamese cats, real deal meaning like the paws are like cartoonish, right? Like the whole paws are brown, and then they're like white with the blue eyes. Like, and this other Siamese cat below me wasn't like that. But anyway, I know there's differences. Cat people, don't fucking come for me. Just educate in the comments.
Right. Relax, people. I'm a dog person, so.
Me too. Yeah. But anyway, the kitty cat.
Okay, very cool. Well, there you go. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for that.
Of course.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Please, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, leave our comments. And if you're on all the other podcast platforms, we are certainly there. Enjoy. And any other things that you need to say?
Just let us know in the comments what you think, what you want to see, the things what type of media you're consuming right now. Yeah. We're just busy out here trying to do all the things.
That's right. So thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.